Hey everyone, welcome to the session by Intellipaat. My name is Anirudh and I hope you guys had a beautiful day. And in this session, we're going to check out the top skills which are required and which are in demand for a big data specialist, a big data architect for the year 2020. Well, before we begin with this session, make sure to subscribe to the Intellipaat's YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an update from us. Anyway, coming quickly to the agenda of today's session, we'll start out by taking a quick introduction to data and big data. Followed by this, we have to understand why actually we need to go about handling the big data problem we have in this world. And after that, we'll check out what are the skills needed to become a big data architect and the roles and responsibilities of a big data architect as well. And followed by that, we're going to check out the average salary of a person who's been working as a big data architect and what are the perspectives and what are the numbers that can be obtained. And after that, we're going to check out a further learning concepts where I'll be guiding you on a fast track path where you can upskill your career and head to the dream jobs. Guys, coming to the first topic of today's live session, it is the introduction to big data. Well, before we actually dive into big data, let us quickly again glance through what is data, because again, data can be sometimes understood well, sometimes misunderstood, but then most of the time everyone around us actually knows what data is, but when you have to talk about it literally, it becomes a sort of a confusion, right? Well, not to sweat, guys. Data is basically defined as nothing but raw facts. It is statistics and all of these raw entities which are collected together. So why are they collected together and where is it used would be your next question, because they collected to perform some further analysis, to draw some inferences based on the raw facts, and eventually at the end of the day you're just converting your raw facts into useful information. Guys, this is very important, converting raw facts into something useful. And there are many types of data when we talk about it, right? For example, think about an Excel sheet. That's lots of data. Think about music. Think about images. Think about anything and everything you see around this world. Everything is data and everything can be collected. For example, the number of chairs in your office, the number of bulbs, the number of computers, the data stored on the computers, the data stored on a hard disk of a computer, guys. Anyway, I know you guys get the point, because when we talk about data, it is so vast. It's a huge ocean, and I am pretty sure you guys already know about this, right? So what do you guys think? Guys, head to the comment section below and do let me know, because again, at the end of the day, again, we both know you guys love an interactive comment section, right? So guys, head to the comment section right now and let me know what's your take on data in today's world. Anyway, coming to the actual question, which is what is big data? Well, big data, let's just say it is when we talk about big data, it's a collective term. So this collective term basically, gives a lot of scope to extremely large data sets. And by data sets, what we mean is collection of data again. So these data sets are present, they are stored, and eventually they are analyzed. And they are analyzed. Why? Again, it's analyzed to do various tasks, guys. Let me put it in the most simplest way possible. So basically, we do it to reveal patterns, understand some trends, and produce some associations alongside the data. So here again, big data is again simple data, but lots of data, right? It might be simple to look at when we go very into the depths of it, but then when we delve on the shallows, well, it might seem simple. So all of this data is actually used to reveal certain patterns, to understand, to perform some analytics. Analytics basically deals with the future and much more. So the main keyword, the main thing that you need to take away is that big data is used for pretty much to understand future patterns, to understand trends, and to create associations as well. So on that note, we need to understand what is big data analytics. I just used the word analytics, right? You might have heard of the term analysis. Well, there's a slight difference between analysis and analytics. With respect to analysis, what happens is that we use past data to determine the present situation. But then when we talk about analytics, well, with analytics, we use the present data to understand and foresee a future, guys. That's how it is. So when you're thinking about when you're thinking about analytics, it's a lot about trend hunting, trend spotting, and understanding what the future holds, basically. So big data analytics is this certain process where we examine again large data, variety of data, and this will actually uncover some beautiful information for us, some very good hidden patterns, very nice market trends, and very good customer preferences as well. And at the end of the day, all of this is used to drive a business to success, and I'm sure that is what the world is after today. So thinking about the problem, why we've read this quote, right? I have read this quote a couple of years ago as well. So I read it as the entire world is a big data problem. The entire world is a big data problem. Well, why did someone coin that? Well, guys, when you think about it, let me explain. The first point I want to tell you about the big data problem is that there is huge amounts of data. And when you have to think about it, I'll give you a very simple example. Think about walking to a computer store or heading to a very famous e-commerce website where you're trying to buy another hard disk for your computer or your laptop or whatever. You will know that they are actually priced very high throughout the world, right? There is a reason for that, because it is extremely expensive to store data, to handle huge amounts of data, and to do all of this processing as well. Sure, nowadays the price is going down, but then when you think about it, it is still fairly expensive. And when we talk about terabytes worth of data generated every day, well, we need to think about it, right? And next, coming to the variety of data, well, data, it's not just one thing. When you talk about it, there's structured data like an Excel workbook, there's unstructured data like images, videos, music, and whatnot, and there's semi-structured data which can fairly be made sense by using key value pairs and concepts such as that. So it's not just the variety of data which comes in, it's just the variety of sources through which the data comes in, right? So let's say there are 1,000 types of data, and it is coming from 10,000 different sources. So when we have to consider how we can go on to handle, we're going to multiply the 1,000 and 10,000 to find out the number of ways we can go on to handle it, right? So again, variety of data plays a very important role, guys. And then coming to the next point of the big data problem in today's world, it's processing speed. Again, here I'll give you a simple example, because let's come back to the laptop situation. So let's say you're upgrading your hard drive. You want to get a 2 TB hard drive. So let's say you're processing, you want to process 2 terabytes worth of data, and you have a very nice input output channel. You have a very good network card which supports 100 MB per second. The best part about this is that you will believe that 100 Mbps is an amazing, very high speed input output channel. But this you might not know is that it'll take you 6 hours to just process 2 terabytes worth of data. 6 full hours, guys. So it is just 2 terabytes of data. I'm going to give you very big numbers further into this slide, so make sure to stick to that, and you will understand why we are stuck with this particular problem in today's world. And this brings us to the highlight, to the savior of the data of today's world, which is the person who's known as a big data architect. So who is a big data architect? Well, a big data architect is a wonderful person who is responsible for, planning, designing, and developing all the big data systems that are present in today's world. Eventually, all the way from designing to managing large scale development. And eventually, when you develop something, you deploy it as well. So, development and deployment goes hand in hand. And then when we think about their entirety of the situation, as I said, they go on to develop a big data solution, they maintain that, they test it, they evaluate it, they upgrade it, they provide support for it, guys. These guys are what I would like to say as the Superman of data, because when you think about it, they are adept at handling a solution. They're adept at providing solutions like this and handling big data like it's nothing, guys. So the key points, the key takeaways I want you guys to pick out from this slide is that they help in designing a big data solution, they maintain the big data solution, and they evaluate. Designing might be a tough job if you think, but maintaining has its own challenges. And if you think maintaining might be okay, I could probably do it, well, try evaluating a problem, right? So when you have a new problem, all of these, the process of designing, maintaining, and evaluation each pose as its own challenge all the single time. And then coming to the quick data flow of how data moves into an IT company and moves away. Let me tell you of how it comes in, right? So let's assume that there's a company who's seeing data from a lot of sources. They have data coming in from Twitter, they have data coming in from YouTube, they have data coming in from their own warehouses, data servers, databases, and much much more. So when all the data starts coming through the pipeline to the company servers or the company's firewall, and it passed all of that, the first person to actually handle all of this data is the big data architect. This person is the first line of reception. When we talk about first line of defense in war, well, data architect is someone like that. They are the first line of reception when it comes to handling the data from the varied sources. And after handling the data, some pre-processing will be done, and later it will be pushed to the person called as the data scientist. The data scientist will pretty much take all the raw information, convert it into raw data, and convert it into information, and then pretty much work with it, apply machine learning, apply artificial intelligence, and all these fancy concepts to make data less unruly, to make data a friendlier entity to work with, guys. So again, the key takeaway here is that you need to understand the data. Big data architect is the person who would have designed an entire solution so that when data steps into the organization, that it is handled perfectly without any discrepancies, guys. And then coming to this wonderful set of facts that I have, let's talk about social media for a while. So how many guys here use social media? Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be Twitter, Snapchat, and all of these fancy social media apps, right? So the thing is, there are so many concepts which cross our mind, but then we don't really think about it. And let me give you an example of how a big data architect fits into Facebook's architecture. There are 2.3 billion monthly active users on Facebook, which means that there are 250 billion photos, guys. Imagine storing this on a hard drive on a laptop. Think of that example, right? So there are 250 billion photos uploaded, and this means that there is 350 million photos every single day which gets uploaded to Facebook servers. And what this accounts to? This accounts to a generation of 4 petabytes of data in under 24 hours, guys. So 1 petabyte is 10 lakh gigabytes worth of data. 10 lakh, yes. And this gets generated in like 22 hours every day, guys. So think about it, right? So we go to Facebook to see memes, wish people happy birthday and whatnot, but then this is the back end of that. Coming to how a big data architect fits into Instagram, check this out. On Instagram there are 40 billion photos which are shared. That means again 95 million every single day. 500 million videos. We know videos take up so much space, right? I'm sure people who have smartphones, who have tuned in via their phones, actually understand that storage is very expensive, especially when it comes to phones without an upgradable storage, right? So again, these guys are moving 10 lakh gigabytes. That's 1 petabyte, guys. So I'm just stressing out in case if you guys don't know what a petabyte is. So these guys are pushing 1 petabyte every single day. Again, Instagram, we just go there again to like people's pictures, put in some of our pictures, and just go there to relax, right? But then when you think about it here, so us relaxing on Instagram is pretty much uploading 95 million photos and 500 million videos every single day. Then let's talk about Twitter. There are 6,000 tweets every single second of every single minute of every single hour of every single day. Right, I said that. So when you think about this, 6,000 tweets might not seem like a lot, but there are 500 million tweets every day. One simple tweet will cause so much havoc in the background. I mean, havoc, this is basically chaos theory, guys. This has been controlled. So this pretty much accounts to 1 terabyte worth of data every single day. So think about it. Think about all the data, why we require big data architects. And this brings us to let's I just said they are supermen, right? The big data architects. Now let's see how we can become those supermen, right? So what are the skills needed to become a big data architect? Let me give you 3 very important skills that you need to understand when you have to understand big data, guys. So I would suggest you guys head to the comment section. Do let me know what you're thinking about this particular skill section, the particularity, the entirety of this particular video. And coming to the first important skill that's needed, it's to understand the big data frameworks out there. There are so many frameworks out there, but then Apache has taken the world by storm. They pretty much have so many things. They have Apache Spark, which is basically used for it's a data flow engine. It's used for in-memory data organization and much more. We have Hive, we have Hadoop. Hadoop again is another big player. We have Utsi, we have HBase, we have Pig, Mahout. We have a machine learning library. It's called as a Spark ML, we have Apache Storm, we have Kafka, Apache Drill, guys. We have Zookeeper, we have Ambari, and when you think about it, there are so many tools that, guys. Again, my do not get me wrong here. My point here is not to get you overwhelmed with how much it's out there. It's just that there is so much out there, and each of these tools, if you learn and understand it, they pay really well, and you will understand how. So, some of the tools at this point of time which is actually needed in today's world is understanding how the Hadoop file system works, that is HDFS. Then we need to understand what yarn is. It's a resource negotiator, guys. When we talk about MapReduce, Pig, Flume, Zookeeper, all these tools are amazing in their own way. But to become a big data architect, all these are very vital. This brings us to the second skill. The second skill is, again, we're handling data. So we need to understand database architectures, guys. Let's say we're using structured query language, which is SQL. So to work with SQL, you need to understand how to query database. What are the commands that you need to use to understand how you can work with the data? For example, let's say that you became an expert in Hadoop. What you will also know is that Hadoop has many tools like Hive, HBase, Pig, and all these, right? And all of these pretty much extract data from the Hadoop file system in a very easy way, just like how we take away data from databases using SQL. So it's very similar to SQL queries, but not exactly. But you guys get the picture, I hope, because it's not all about understanding frameworks. It's about understanding how to query with the data. It's all about how to get your hands messy and churn with data, guys. And then coming to the third very important skill, it's data visualization. Because you might be wondering, okay, so we churn through a lot of data, but what next? Well, all of this data needs to be understood how you can go on to handle it. Because let's say you handle some data and you create some beautiful visualizations. Well, unfortunately, that will not be the end of it. I'll tell you why. Data changes every now and then, so you need to understand how data migration works. When you know how data migration works, how data is moving around from one format to another, one machine to another, one node to another, you need to later reassure to your firm, reassure to yourself that you have the capability to handle this particular data and later go on to producing some fruitful results from the same, guys. So these are the three very important skills that I had to tell you. Coming to if you guys are interested in the big data engineer's role as well, it's slightly different from the big data architect's role, and here is the slight difference. So a big data engineer will be concerned with databases and programming languages like Python and whatnot, and having AWS certification, understanding how they can move their entire big data program to the cloud is something very important, very vital, even for an engineer, even for an architect and whatnot. And they'll also be working on languages such as Scala, Java, and pretty much PySpark and much more, guys. PySpark is basically Spark using Python. And to give you a quick fair comparison between a big data engineer and a big data architect, I thought this slide would add a lot of weightage to that. And then coming to the hot skills of an architect, right, guys? Big data architect, here it is. So Hadoop is it has to be there. It has to be the foundational skill that you have, and after learning Hadoop, you'll be understanding and you'll be building upon your repertoire in a Spark. Because once you understand how to work with Spark, pretty much you will understand working with NoSQL databases, non-relational databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, and much more. And after understanding how you can understand a file system, work with it, and store it respectively, you'll be understanding on how we can apply machine learning to the data, perform some data mining to understand perspectives which might have been absent to the naked eye. And then after that, pretty much we're going to use data visualizations to again map out these beautiful visualizations. Well, of course, as human beings, images are understood by the human brain 3000 times faster than numbers, guys, and that's a fact. So coming to the learning curve of a big data architect, let me quickly walk you through all of these. We have again covered this in an entire video, so make sure to check it out after this particular video, guys. So you'll begin by understanding data structures, followed by which you'll understand how to store data with SQL technologies. A programming language like Python or Scala is needed if you're establishing an entire big data system there. Apache HBase is needed, Amazon Web Services, of course, to move their entire platform to the cloud. And then distributed computing was very vital as well, because you'll not just be working on one machine, you will be working on multiple machines, because you cannot handle big data on a single CPU, right, when you think about it. So it would be naive for us to think that huge amounts of data can just be handled through one point of time. But then here is where Hadoop file system comes. Here is where you control everything from one machine, which is spread across this world, and it makes it very simple. And that's the fun part about big data, guys. And then coming to the roles and responsibilities of a big data architect, the first most important thing you need to understand about a big data architect is that they are very well versed with database designing. They know how to design very good databases and maintain the data as well. And after this, they know how to work with ETL. ETL is basically, extracting data, transforming data, and loading. So it's called as ETL, extract, transform, load. And this processing is very vital even for a small amount of data. Now think about terabytes, petabytes worth of data, right? And then coming to data warehouse designing. So how do you store the data? How do you work with the data easily and spread it across your domain, right? That's data warehousing. And then coming to supporting operational use of data. Well, of course, if you have stored your data, if you're working on it, then you need to understand how everyone in your organization can make use of this data, as fast as they can, as easy as they can, and in fact, the most important thing is as efficient as they can. Then coming quickly into each of these tools, as the responsibilities mainly cover, your main duty will be to solve the big data problem by doing some structuring to the data, analyzing how the data is behaving by making use of Hadoop. And Hadoop is very easy, very nice tool to work with. It takes care of all the debugging operations, all the monitoring operations, and it does automated performance tuning as well. And after you worked with pretty much Hadoop and all your performance tuning is done, and your data, you've understood what your data is doing, then you must be able to handle large scale databases where you need to store all of this. It's just not storing it. At the end of the day, after storing, you'll be using it again and again to analyze the patterns, basically, which will help you make very, very strong and accurate business decisions as well. Followed by this, a big data architect must be a very strong team leader as well, because again, when you think about it, being a team leader, having the ability to mentor people, collaborate with the other teams, and making them understand what you have designed for the entire company is something very vital. And the ability to build rapport and relationships with vendors and partner companies, because at the end of the day, your organization might be dealing with a lot of clients where you have to work and provide a solution to their big data problems as well, right? So this last part of having the interpersonal skills of building very good rapport and relationships matter a lot. And then here is a couple of sample job descriptions that I picked up for a big data architect. The first company I have for you guys is Capgemini. Capgemini is again a very well established IT company, and they have their presence on pretty much every country in today's world. So they say that you require strong knowledge of ETL tools and data prep tools, metadata tools, and everything. Just as we discussed, ETL is important. And then they say you have to have some experience building custom integration between products. So here is where your creation abilities will come to the picture. And they say that you need to understand how workflow tools are going to work as well, because after that data warehousing will come into the picture, creating very high quality design architecture. Strong communication skills obviously should possess the ability to present design architecture to stakeholders. And guys, this at the end of the day, again, as we have discussed, as I told you, check out the next point. It says ability to lead and mentor the team members, right? Again, that's very important. Ability to work in a high pressure environment. Of course, you're providing the most complex solution to probably the most complex data present out there. So of course there's going to be high pressure. And then working knowledge of agile methodologies, waterfall models, and everything else followed by that. And then when you have to talk about the next company, it's American Express. With American Express, they say they require a bachelor's degrees in computer science or any relative field as well, 3 to 5 years of experience with design and deriving business requirements across a floor, and then understanding big data, NoSQL design, as we discussed, experience in data analytics and analysis, data modeling, data architecture. Again, you can see all the points I said are being validated by actual job descriptions that I'm showing you here. Having very good knowledge, understanding metadata management, mastering the data management concepts, all the practices that's used, and at the end of the day, being at the top of your game when we talk about efficiency is all American Express is asking for. And this brings us to the average salary constraint that some people feel that big data architects get paid a lot. Well, yes, let me tell you, the only constraint is that it might be a little high pressure working environment, but at the end of the day, they're paying you so well. The average salary in the United States is $125,000. In India, it's 17 lakhs per annum, and in the UK, it's 68 or somewhere around 70,000 pounds per year, guys. So I would suggest, this would be the right time. It's 2020. It's just February. It's the start of a fresh decade. If you guys are pushing on to becoming a big data architect, to achieve your dreams, achieve a huge salary for everyone from the freshers to the most experienced people, well, this is just the average salary that I've given you. This the lower threshold might start somewhere from 8 lakhs per annum, and the upper threshold might go all the way till 45-50 lakhs per annum. I'm talking about the subcontinent of India, of course. But then again, when you think about it, even rest of the world, this point holds very valid. And in fact, here it is. For if you just mastered big data, you'll get a salary of $121,000. A big data architect will get $123,000. A data scientist, $122,000 almost. And every single tool that I told you, these are the salaries, guys. Flume, 127,000, Hadoop, 126,000, all the way till Scoop, Splunk, Spark, Zookeeper. Everything is north of $110,000 or $120,000, right? In fact, HBase, if you can become an expert in MapReduce, you get paid $132,000, guys, and that's a very fancy number, anywhere across the world, right? So take a quick second, glance across these numbers, and guys, head to the comment section with your opinions on the same. So I hope you guys could make sense and see the actual potential present in the world of big data, guys. So coming to my final thoughts on this particular live session or this particular concept of big data at all, well, I would like to quote Mr. Bill Gates here. He says, how you gather data, manage data, and use information will determine whether you will win or lose. I mean, that's such a strong quote, pretty much coming from the founder of one of the world's biggest companies, right? Again, when you think about it, the job that we're talking about, the big data architect's job, it's one of the most trending jobs in the entire world today, guys. So when you think about it, it is worth every single bit investing on your future at this point of time. Coming to further learning, you might be like, hey Anirudh, alright, I've stuck with you till now. I understand what you're trying to tell me, but how can I go further? Well, guys, again, I have another beautiful quote for you guys. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Well, how strong is that particular quote? It's from Benjamin Franklin, and I would like to use it, and I've been using it, and you guys tell me you love it whenever I use this quote. So anyway, coming to your further learning, guys, we have an entire YouTube channel, or pretty much, we cater to millions of learners. And when you think about it, we've put out videos on every single topic that you guys have asked for, in fact, and pretty much, we cater to all the learners. So make sure to head to our Intellipaat YouTube channel, guys. If you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell icon, because if you've done this both, again, head to the comment section and do let me know. I have a surprise waiting for you guys at the end. And if you're not much of a video person, if you like to read blogs, you're a book reader and whatnot, well, we have an entire blog channel as well. We have thousands of blogs published by software architects, experts, and a lot of people in the content team who strive day in and day out to push the best content out there for the world. And then when you think about community, we have an entire Intellipaat community channel set up where we have a lot of tech talk happening, and we have a variety of IT talk happening, from big data, Python, artificial intelligence, guys, you name it, we have it, from SAP, to all the niche technologies as well. We have people from a very young age all the way to our senior citizens who come together. We have experts there. We have some very big people, CEOs of big companies, who come on our community page and pretty much interact with people and go on to answering queries, technical queries, non-technical queries, and whatnot, guys. So make sure to check it out. And then coming to your quick surprise before I talk to you about the course, guys, note this down. I am going to give you a flat 30% off on all the courses that you see on the Intellipaat's website. So the coupon code you guys will be using is YouTube30, YOUTUBE, YouTube that is in caps, and then 30, guys. So this code will give you a flat 30% off on the courses. So what course are we talking about? Well, if since you guys are interested in the big data architects role as per the request you guys made, well, let me walk you through Intellipaat's Big Data Hadoop certification program. This will basically this program is again very well reviewed by almost 10,000 learners, and here again this will get you started with Hadoop, Spark, all the way. Basically, it'll prepare you for the Cloudera development certification exam, Hadoop administrator exam, and it'll give you 14 industry oriented case projects as well. You'll be learning MapReduce, Hive, Pig, Spark SQL, RDDs, Scalas, Amazon EC2, and much more, guys. Again, you need to understand that this course has been created with one of the biggest industry giants of the past and now as well, IBM. These guys have been the cornerstone. These guys have been the foundation to Fortune 500 companies today, and we have put up this course. We have made this course in collaboration with these giants, guys, and of course with this course you're gonna get Java and Linux courses for free as well. So coming to the quick key features of this particular course, you're gonna have 60 hours of instructor-led training, 85 hours of self-paced training, 120 hours of exercises. Again, when you can observe, our exercises and project times are twice the time of the trainings we provide, because at the end of the day at Intellipaat, we believe that you having exercises, you having the relevant project work, the relevant real-time industry level experience work here when you're obtaining your certificate is extremely important, because when you're going to go out and use the certification, this is where you're going to bring in all the weightage to your resume from. And of course, we provide the certification on the course completion, and we provide very good job assistance as well. We are known in 80 plus MNCs, and I'm going to walk you through that in a second. Coming to scheduling again, if let's say you cannot pick up the instructor led training where there is a online classroom and an instructor teaches live, well, make sure to call us up, and we'd be more than happy to give you a flexible scheduling where you can be put into a class which pretty much helps you with your time as well. But then if you are very strict about your timing, let's say there is absolutely no way you can make time, well, we do have the self-paced version as well. The self-paced version is recorded videos of all the content you'll be learning, and pretty much you can sit at your own convenience at your own time and learn all of this as well. And of course, lifetime free upgrades and 24/7 lifetime support and lifetime access is what we champion here at Intellipaat, because we believe that 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if you have the course in your cart, if you have bought the course once, you get to keep it for a lifetime, and every time you learn it, you'll be learning the latest version of that, guys. And then coming to a little bit more about training, we have an entire section which is dedicated to understanding questions such as who should take it up, what are the prerequisites, and why should you go for this. And after that, we have the entire course content given out here. We're going to be starting out with Hadoop installation and setup. Pretty much you can watch our hands-on exercises here as well. So every module we have, for example, this module is Introduction to Big Data Hadoop. So here we have good hands-on exercises where we'll be checking out the working mechanism, the data replication process, and much more. So all the way from the basics and installation of Hadoop, we're gonna dive right into the heart of big data and understand what's going on, guys. So pretty much in everything from Pig, Flume, Scoop, HBase, Spark, RDDs, data frames, Spark SQL, machine learning, Spark streaming, Hadoop administration, guys. And we have a couple of courses that are available only in the self-paced mode, because again, at the end of the day, these are certain concepts that you can quickly pretty much understand it at a very good pace, guys. So everything from Hadoop application training, roles and responsibilities, unit testing, test execution, the strategies for testing a Hadoop application, and much more. And in fact, guys, you can detail, you can check out this particular training program in detail. If you want to download the curriculum, make sure to hit the download course curriculum button, and you can pretty much have access to that as well. Coming to the projects, as you can check out, there are many projects, the industry that the project is working on, the topic, the highlight, the problem statement, and pretty much everything that is needed to get you started with industry level projects. Because as soon as you step out with your certification, this experience, these projects, and all this hands-on experience is the one that matters, and of course alongside the certification, guys. And then coming to sample videos, of course we have a Hadoop tutorial, we have the about the course Hive introduction, we have multiple sample videos for you guys to check it out. And then you will receive a certification from IBM and Intellipaat like this, and it's recognized in big companies, guys. Everyone from Ericsson, Cisco, Cognizant, Sony, Mu Sigma, Saint Gobain, Standard Chartered, TCS, Genpact, Hexaware, and much more. So having a course certification, having a certificate like this with the projects you work with Intellipaat, with the relevant hands-on experience we give you, and the intense training that you're given, you're pretty much ready to get out there after being certified and land the dream job with the really big and lucrative salary numbers that we just saw. And of course we have our customer feedback, our customer reviews, and we have our course advisors who have given their views about the course as well. So when we think about frequently asked question, of course we have put in a couple of questions which might answer most of your doubts, but then you might still have doubts after that as well. So basically, if you have any questions, any suggestions, anything that you need, or if you need any help with any sort of course certification, guys, make sure to head down to the comment section below and do let me know. And of course, to get a quick resolution to understand which course is best fit for you, make sure you contact us on the numbers given on your screen. We have the Indian number and the US number, so hit us up as soon as you can, because we do have exciting offers at this point of time, and you can use the YouTube 30 coupon while checking out to give you a flat 30% off as well. But then if you're not much of a phone person, if you are into emails and if you like to write emails, guys, we are reachable, sales@intellipaat.com, so make sure to shoot us a mail, and our course advisors are standing by and they'll be more than happy to help you out at the earliest. And on that note, you have reached the end of this session. We hope you took away a lot from this session, and guys, as always, I hope you had a beautiful day, and I'm excited to meet you on the next one. Have a good night.